Don't smile because it's over, United fans. Cry because it happened. Meanwhile, Bayern's golden boy rage baits the club's entire fan base, AFCON's biggest stars deliver, and the transfer window is popping off. This is DMAC Daily. Incredible scenes to grace the timeline in the last 24 hours. I mean, we had Amorim dapping up the photographers upon his sudden exit from the club, Garnacho with a hate watch masterclass on IG, Mark Goldbridge losing his mind whilst going live, or Matty FC crashing out at his beloved manager being shown the exit door. What a time to be alive. I thought the Maresca sacking was crazy stuff, but United just had to comprehensively outdo Chelsea with that kind of bombshell. In the words of Patrice Evra, I love this game. So without further ado, let's deep dive. Quite frankly, I don't even know where to begin with this one. This is the 10th manager now post Sir Alex Ferguson, with systematic failures from top to bottom still evidently clear, and this feeling of, well, now what? Even as a lifelong member of the United Hate Watch Association, I'm starting to get bored of how dreadful this club is run. Personally, I much preferred it when Arsenal were Banter FC. That was actual comedy. This is just sad. But on a more serious note, the Amorim era was such a calamity, all 14 months of it. But here's the kicker. His sudden sacking only proves one thing, that United's hierarchy is woefully incompetent, because they didn't sack him following last season's dreadful performances, their worst campaign in 51 years. They didn't sack him following the Europa League final disaster, or then the Carabao Cup humiliation against 4th tier side Grimsby. No. They actually came out on multiple occasions and reiterated, we're not getting rid of another manager. They've already done that 9 times previously, that this will be a brutal transitional period and that we will entrust in Amorim for the foreseeable future. Back in October, co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe literally said that the club won't make a, quote, knee-jerk decision and ensure that Amorim has 3 years to deliver. At the time, I thought it was mystifying of the club to continue backing him, considering Amorim's repeated failures over the course of a full year in charge, his obvious tactical naivety, this stubbornness to a system that had clear objective flaws, his woeful treatment of Academy starlet Kobbie Mainoo, alongside the unnecessary public criticisms of Harry Amas and Cheeto Obi. But hey, fair play to the owners, right? They stood by him despite the noise. And you know what? In the 3 months that followed, United had incrementally improved. Don't get me wrong, they were still dreadful on many occasions, but with only 1 loss in their last 8 games and sat 6th in the table, by their own previous criteria, it shouldn't have been all that bad, right? Well, there lies the sea of contradictions within United's ownership, because the second Amorim finally makes a negative comment about the hierarchical structures within, he's gone. The 3 years that they had assured the public of were scrapped as soon as he gave an ounce of criticism regarding the club. So the narrative United are now trying to sell is that Amorim was just too tactically inept, too reckless of a leader to continue. And whilst both of these things are definitely true, that's not the reason they sacked him. The reality is that United just want a yes man. It's not about sticking to a philosophy, despite the challenges that may arise. It's about ensuring that no manager critiques the owner. Once Amorim deviated, his time was up. It's comical to me that these seemingly innocuous comments from Amorim were the straw that broke the camel's back. There were so many other problematic elements to his tenure that were previously ignored. This entire ordeal is just peak Man United. But it does now beg the question, what happens next? Well, Stephen Fletcher has been instilled on an interim basis. Is this going to be a Solskjaer 2.0 situation? Is Solskjaer himself potentially coming back till the end of the season? Unlike Chelsea, for instance, who have already moved on from Maresca and are finalizing Senior's appointment on a permanent deal, I'm not sure whether United will go down the interim route till the season's end or back someone new altogether. I like the sound of Southgate in theory, even though he is inexperienced at the club level. If anyone was equipped to handle a uniquely volatile English press and simultaneously galvanize a dressing room, it's probably him. He brought unity to the English national team after all, something that couldn't be achieved for generations. But maybe Maresca could be considered for the job, or even Xavi. It's really anyone's guess. But with all that being said, I'm genuinely unsure if any manager can actually fix United. They are special for all the wrong reasons. Switching gears to Germany's biggest club, and we've got ourselves a PR disaster for the ages, courtesy of none other than Bayern Munich's latest prodigy, record-breaking youngster Lennart Karl, who in the space of a few months has gone from a promising academy talent to one of the world's best U18 players. He's not just farming in the Bundesliga either, as the youngest player ever to score in 3 consecutive UCL matches, but his latest comments at a fan club visit no less have simply enraged the Bayern fanbase. When asked by a young fan if he has a dream club besides Bayern, bro was quick to say FC Bayern is a very big club. It's a dream to play there, but at some point I definitely want to go to Real Madrid. That's my dream club, but this stays between us. Beyond the glaringly obvious point, what are you thinking, Karl? Twerking for Madrid at a Bayern fan meetup? My favorite part of this comment is that he hopes that this secret stays between us. Saying this like you're not in a room full of cameras, like the internet doesn't exist. Now, in fairness to Karl, he's not even an adult yet. Who are we to criticize a 17-year-old with no real PR training or even a fully developed brain speaking about his dreams? To be honest, I actually rate his mentality in a way. He's already starring at one of the world's biggest clubs, a scenario millions of aspiring footballers would kill to be in. Yet he's already got his sights set on even brighter lights and is unafraid to say it. And whether you love or hate Real Madrid, for many, it is the pinnacle of club football to wear this shirt. So whilst I can respect that kind of ambition, no doubt Karl will now have to learn the hard way that you cannot say these things without facing heavy backlash. Because Bayern too are a European giant. A large portion of their fan base will feel deeply disrespected by this comment, even if his intentions weren't hurtful. It's never a nice feeling knowing that you're not the main priority. Moving over to international football news, and AFCON continues to deliver spectacular moments. Nigeria, with their most comprehensive performance of the tournament thus far, a 4-0 thumping of Mozambique in the round of 16. The Super Eagles have made a statement with all their star names stepping up. Osimhen with a brace, Lookman scoring and then providing 2 assists. That's 7 goal involvements in just 3 AFCON games. Adams also picking up 3 goal contributions today. The chemistry within this front 3 is frightening right now. The midfield trio of Iwobi, Ndidi and Onyeka behind them too is menacing. For all the inner turmoil this team has been through in recent months and not reaching the World Cup, they appear rejuvenated. A big test now awaits in the quarterfinals, either Algeria or the Democratic Republic of Congo, the nation that famously ended their World Cup dream. Both opponents, no doubt, will make for a seismic clash. In today's other round of 16 matchup, Egypt prevailed over a resilient Benin side 3-1 in extra time. Atia opened the scoring in emphatic fashion, but a crazy deflection from a cross turned in by Dusu took this contest to extra time. However, Egypt's quality would inevitably prevail in the end, Ibrahim restoring the lead with a brilliant header before Salah closed out the show in the 124th minute. A fine outside of the boot finish too. The Egyptian king stepping up for his country once again. I'm not convinced with this Egypt team overall. They haven't played well all tournament, but you cannot rule this nation out. They are the historical kings of AFCON after all. And finally, to close out today's show, we got some wild transfer updates in the last 24 hours. João Cancelo, probably the biggest story of the day. Having joined Al Hilal just last summer, the Portuguese international is suddenly itching for a return to European football. Now, the immediate frontrunners were Inter Milan. Star wingback Denzel Dumfries' long-term injury meant they needed an immediate solution to that right flank. Cancelo, who had previously featured for the Nerazzurri, became a viable target, but once Barcelona came into the equation, the matter was settled. He wants a return to his former club and will now join on loan once again till the season's end. A great short-term fix. He's versatile, a top player all round. I'm a little surprised Barca aren't prioritizing a centre-back first and foremost, considering Christensen's ACL blow or Araujo's need to visit Tel Aviv, but if they can manage to bring both to the club, then it's a no-brainer. Meanwhile, it's being reported Juventus have contacted Liverpool's Federico Chiesa over a possible return. I'd be shocked to see Liverpool actually sanction this move. He's a great squad player to have, but Chiesa understandably is wanting more game time, something Slot just isn't providing him, and the Italian would have a point to prove upon his hypothetical return to Juve. This is a club he was famously ousted from under Thiago Motta's reign. Curious to see how this ultimately plays out. Staying in English football news and following Joško Gvardio's leg break, City have opted to recall loanee Max Elaine from Watford. The 20-year-old has been balling out in the Championship, but it's still a considerable step up in quality at City. It's also a bit surprising considering they've brought him back whilst actively being linked with a move for Mark Guehi. Liverpool and Bayern are also in the race for the Englishman. This could be the biggest transfer saga of the winter window. Lots of big moves anticipated in the weeks ahead. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Thanks for tuning in as always, and I'll see you tomorrow.